Alright, so our next stop is, trying to find where that treasure chart goes. It should go to Rockspire Isle, which is right down there. At this point, it's like, we could warp to Tingle Island, but we're also right on top of it, so we might as well just sail there. No point in, warping since we're already in the neighborhood. So it's this square. Actually, I think that's it right over there. You know what? I'm really glad that the piggy sitting quest only took one attempt because, yeah, my practice run, I did a practice run for this end game. They kind of gave me a lot of trouble. As we're going here to fish up this treasure, I also wanted to point out that, actually that's not Rockspire, that's Rockspire over there. The guide says to go do some things in an order that I'm not doing. I've done everything basically in order for like super essential stuff like treasure charts and pieces of heart, but I'm actually missing several treasure charts from what the guide has. Those are all located at the various reefs we've seen. So there's the Cyclops Reef, the 2-Eye Reef, 3-Eye Reef, etc. up to 6-Eye Reef, all located around the world. And now that we have the cannon, we can destroy all of the wall-mounted cannons and ships around the area. And if we actually do that, like for example, 4-Eye Reef is right there, 3-Eye Reef is there, 5-Eye, Cyclops and 6-Eye are right next to each other. You get a treasure chart leading to a special kind of chart, like a Great Fairy chart that says where all the like Great Fairies are, if I'm not mistaken, and like where all the big octos are, and where light rings are, because there's several light rings that only appear at night. And I haven't gotten those yet because they're actually really tedious to get. Just destroy all the cannons, and then, once the treasure chart appears, it always appears on one of the eyes. You have to kind of glide over, and it's just kind of a chore. So I've kind of been putting that off. But this guide I'm using indicates it is possible to do now. I'm just electing not to do it because those charts don't really have anything we need. We have all the big octos that give pieces of heart or important upgrades. So we kind of just don't have much need for the charts from the eye reefs, so that's why I'm kind of putting them off for a little bit. I'm still on the fence if I'm actually going to go out of my way for all the treasure charts on stream. If it is, it'll probably be after completing the main game. I say as I'm literally getting a treasure chart taken care of. Every square on the map has a treasure chart. So, and most of them are just rupees, so they're not super important, but I kinda don't know if it's considered necessary for 100%, is my argument. Alright, so this is Fire Mountain. If we freeze the top, it cools the entire mountain, which clearly is how this works in real life. I will say one thing about Wind Waker as a whole, and this is something I have an issue with in specific Zelda games quite a bit, actually. This game kind of has the, oh, nice power-up, now for you to never use it again, kind of a setup. The fire and ice arrows only come in handy like a couple times. in the entirety of the game. That Karkarock is really scary because it can actually... It has attacked me up here, which is much harder to deal with. So hopefully, that's the only one. I think there's only one here. Also, the rain you'd think would stop the Fire Mountain, but I guess not. There's also Icewing Isle, which we will be doing next, which is actually a lot harder, for reasons we'll get into later. We can thankfully skip all the fire keys pretty easily, but we do have to defeat these guys. Luckily they go down in one counter, so they're not too bad. You got the power bracelets. Both arms are now stronger than ever. Press A to grab and lift objects. So now the timer has gone away, and anytime we see one of these big stones, we can destroy them now. So we can get to like Stonewatcher Island and do stuff there. I swear there's more. There's one on Outset, but I don't remember if it's one that requires the power bracelets or if you could alternatively use the bombs, because some can kind of go either way. Actually, before warping, where is this? Right next to Forest Haven. Technically, we don't have to do this now. I mean, we don't actually need iron boots. Spoilers, that's the item we get. We don't need them until after the Earth Temple. And I've actually tried to look up if there's actually a set order you have to do this in, and I couldn't find anything. There's some people being like, yeah, you can do the next few temples out of order. Other sites were like, no, you can't. So, I don't know, actually. I legitimately don't know. Welcome, Link. Your figurine base request has been fulfilled. It's been a long time since I've done work this exceptional. Go in that door there to check it out. I was completely overcome with the creative urge. After seeing what you gave me, I ended up making lots of figurines. But all that artistic spirit made me a little absent-minded, so I don't exactly remember which rooms they placed them all in. Why don't you go and have a look inside? He tells you that if he's working on multiple figures at a time. Tetra is a very important picture to get as early as possible, because you basically only have one opportunity to get a picture of Tetra. Phantom Ganon, you have 2 opportunities, so definitely one to prioritize. Helmarock, definitely. I guess I already traded in like Big Octo, because I'm pretty sure I got a picture of them. But yeah, Helmarock, Phantom Ganon, Kogoli, who's the Rito near where Medley is going to be when we go back to Dragon Roost in a moment, on the upper platforms. There's a Wizrobe in the Wind Temple, Big Octo. In Big Octo you have a few chances to get, because there are a few Big Octos. It's not as urgent as some, but it's still pretty urgent. Yeah, obviously Tetra is a hard one to get. There's several, like, rare photos you can get. Like, you don't have a chance to photograph the Queen of Fairies, but you can buy a photo of her from Lenzo. So if you are trying to complete the Nintendo Gallery, you have to kind of be very diligent And it's a lot harder on GameCube because you can't hold as many photos at one time. And you also have the problem of... Sorry, I was just looking to see which treasure chart we even got. You also have the problem of... You start out with a black and white picto box for much longer than on HD, because you actually have to get to the Forest Haven before you can even start getting pictographs for the figurine gallery. Because you have to get a forest firefly, and in this game you don't. I'm pretty sure one of the fish's hints tells you about that, which is like completely invalidated by the fact that we're not on GameCube, so that hint is completely pointless. Alright, so we have to aim at like there, but with a fire arrow. I shot it with a regular arrow and it did nothing. There's a treasure chest here, but I always struggle with this, so in general, I would say definitely don't get this immediately. Definitely wait on it, because this does tend to take a little bit longer than the Fire Mountain. Another treasure chart. So my basic advice for this section is to not roll if you have to make a jump. If you roll jump on ice, you will not get that much distance and you will splat in the water. There's no like ice damage from water, thankfully. I think this is actually the only like frozen area in this entire game. You can use those two platforms, the one with the blue rupee and the one lower, if you fall on the other side. While we're waiting for the platform, I'm going to turn the arrows back to normal. And you can also just face plant, which is always an interesting experience. But yeah, don't roll jump. I've made that mistake a lot, and yeah, it can really cost a lot of time. But we are not done yet, because now we actually have another little mini dungeon like last time. By last time, I mean Fire Mountain. Alright, so this is the kind of annoying part to me. You have to ride this little ice slide, but keys are constantly bombarding you, so my advice would be to take out the keys. But also hitting moving targets, not fun, so you actually might have to move in kind of close to get their attention. Because if they're actually moving in to attack you, they're a lot easier to actually strike down. But that was actually unnecessary. I could have just used a sword strike. It's very easy to fall off this slide, so you have to kind of control what direction you are going in order to stay in the middle. And iron boots. These boots are so heavy you can hardly walk, but the wind can't blow you around when you wear them. Like before, once we actually get the dungeon item, we have an unlimited timer to get through here. I miss Ocarina 3D from the standpoint of being able to just quickly swap them in and out. They are a dedicated inventory item like an Ocarina 3D instead of a pause menu item. Oh, thank you for the follow. I don't have Streamlabs open, so I don't know who that was. But thank you. So here's a little mini section here. Well, combat arena. You're not supposed to unfreeze them all at once. To be honest, that was like not smart. However, I don't seem to be having much trouble here, so I guess it's working out pretty well. I feel like in some ways combos are actually worse, because if you just kind of peck at him like that, it can actually be faster than if you accidentally knock him down. Because when you knock him down, then you have the problem of trying to wait till they get up before you can start attacking again, and therefore it's actually much more efficient to just kind of do single slashes, I find, instead of a full combo. See if I can kind of demonstrate that. This guy is difficult because he kind of blocks, but more for Dark Nuts, I think. And an orange rupee for our troubles. So yeah, the treasure chart is actually outside, so if you're just worrying about treasure charts, also this kicks you all the way back out, so that's very convenient actually. So yeah, if you're only worried about treasure charts, you don't have to do that a lot, and do that at all, I mean, and a lot of things, that's what I was trying to say, are completely optional. There is a dungeon, a little mini dungeon, I don't know if you can even call it that, like a one-room kind of a thing in at Angular Isles that doesn't have anything other than like rupees, so it's actually kind of pointless if you're going for 100%, unless you really want to clear out everything. I find this is a game with like multiple levels and potential definitions of 100%. Like, you could define it in a lot of different ways in this one game. One way you could is all heart pieces, or all treasure charts, but then you could extend it to all treasure from treasure charts collected. But you could also be like all